Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Garnacho speaks his first words as a Chelsea player. Nicolas Jackson is refusing to come back to Chelsea, but he could be a Bayern Munich player by the time the window closes. Chelsea want a new striker and are currently holding talks with Sporting Lisbon striker Conrad. Chelsea are also considering recalling Marc Guiu from his loan, and Chelsea have also put a bid in for Fermin Lopez. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k before the end of 2025. Kicking things off, Fabrizio Romano reported what Alejandro Garnacho said while signing for Chelsea. He said, "It's an incredible moment for my family and I get to join this great club. I can't wait to get started. I watched the Club World Cup and to join the World Champions is special. We're the best team in the world. It's amazing to be here." During his first Chelsea interview, Garnacho said this about joining Chelsea. He said, "Yeah, I think it's a big step, you know. The situation of the club, I think, is a good step for me." He goes on to say, "I used to watch the Premier League when I was young. Obviously Chelsea because I like Eden Hazard. That's why I support Chelsea." Garnacho was then asked, "Is there a bit of Eden Hazard in your game?" And he said, "Yeah, of course. He was a reference, you know. He plays the same position and everything, so yeah, a big reference." Garnacho then speaks on being fearless and nervous, and he says, "I mean, I never feel nervous when I play. Sometimes you can play better or play bad, but I never have this feeling, you know. Yeah, I think I can bring something, I can help the team." Garnacho was then asked who he spoke to before joining Chelsea. He said, "Yeah, I spoke with Enzo because he's my friend from the national team. He can't wait to have me there and work together." Now, I've been very clear that I'm not overly excited about the Garnacho deal. However, I'm very curious because I want him to do well, and I'm very curious to see how he lands, how he reacts, how he's going to be in this new environment under the new system of Maresca. And I think there's just a lot of, I suppose it's turning into excitement. It's quite exciting to see a new player coming in, regardless of obviously what we know of Garnacho already, because again, it could be the players, the manager, the environment. There could be a myriad of things. It could be his attitude, whatever it may be. But I feel like he's already started on the right foot with this Chelsea interview because he said, "Look, it's amazing to be here. I've been a Chelsea fan since a kid. For me and my family, this is amazing. I saw the Club World Cup. I'm joining the World Champions." I don't like the fact he said we're the best team in the world. You've only just got it. You have to earn that. But I like it. I like the mindset there. He also goes on to speak about how Chelsea is the right step for him. It's a big step up, and it is. He's gone from 15th finishing Man United to the Club World Cup champions, who are going to be in the Champions League. It's a massive step up for him in terms of current form, regardless of the historical stature of the clubs, right? But it's still a big club to big club move. But I like the way that he's saying that the situation here, it works for me. And I feel like he's even being a bit more self-aware and learning a bit more about himself and saying, "Look, I've got a friend in Enzo from the national team. He can't wait for me to be here so we can work hard and train together." I think that is going to be so pivotal in terms of how Garnacho gets settled into this Chelsea team and under Enzo Maresca and knowing his job role and player role within the system. I feel like there's a big hole for him to get the starting position on the left-hand side. Obviously, it's all performance-based. I think we'd all be happy if he's performing well to be that starting left winger. Obviously, we've had some injury news recently, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going around Stamford Bridge at the moment in terms of news, so make sure you keep watching. We're going to speak about that in a little while. But I quite like what Garnacho said in this interview. He used to support Chelsea as a kid. He likes Eden Hazard. He likes to reference Eden Hazard in terms of his playing style. I personally don't see that too much, but I do understand that he's not, he's fearless and he doesn't get nervous because regardless of what you think about Garnacho, the one positive thing about him is that he is fearless and he always tries to pick up the ball and do something with it. He drives at defences. He tries to get in behind. He's not scared to take a man on. And I feel like we need that. We need that. That's what Jamie Gittins is going to be. And again, he seems to be trying to settle in to this Chelsea team. It's going to take him a little while, but Garnacho has the Premier League experience. And I feel like, if he is in the right environment, he wants this move. He's been wanting this move all summer. He's got a point to prove now in terms of he's got to get his head down, work hard, show to everyone that he's an incredible player, show to everyone that he's not a bad egg, show to everyone that he wants to be here and wants to fight for the team. And I'm going to tell you, it'll be absolute cinema if he scores the winner against United and does a sue at Stamford Bridge or kisses the badge. Could you imagine? It would be limbs. Regardless, I quite like this from Garnacho. It's not saying anything over the top. There's no ego in it, really. He's just basically saying, look, for me and my family, this is a special moment. I've grew up watching this team. There's pictures of him as a kid wearing Chelsea tops and whatnot. And, he's a fan of Eden Hazard. Look, if he wants to mould his game around that, amazing. If he can perform anywhere near the levels of Eden Hazard, we are on to an absolute winner. I don't think Eden Hazard could be replicated, but playing styles, etc., whatever. He's very young. He's going to develop. So I really like this interview from Garnacho, if I'm being honest. And again, I've always said, as soon as you put a Chelsea shirt on, I'm going to back you until you give me a reason not to. I was not a fan of this transfer going through this window. A lot of you guys are, a lot of you guys aren't still, and I hear it. I always try to be fair, criticize when it's needed, and also praise and give flowers when it's needed too. But for me, this is a clean slate for him. He's come out and said some really good things in this interview. I'm not excited, again, I'm curious, but there is a tiny bit of excitement starting to boil because I want to see what he can do in this new system. What is he going to be, a completely different player in terms of mindset and what he can do on the pitch, etc.? Because obviously we're a couple games in. We now got the international break, so he should be ready and available for the next game back, which I believe is Brentford, which will be a tough game anyway. But seeing him get minutes, it'll be interesting to see what the reception is from the fans. I always say that Chelsea will give undivided devotion to players for at least 24 months, unless there's a reason beforehand, like Lukaku, for example, 3 months in doing that interview and everyone was like, get out of my club. But, you likes of Timo Werner, and there's so many other players over the years that we just we defend them, we give them support and the love that they need, because if they try hard, work hard, that's what we want. We want you to play for the badge. We want you to, play for this team. We want you to put your life on the line for this team. And the way that the squad is so settled and how they work together and work for each other, it's so beautiful to see, because we've not had that for many, many years. So it'll be very interesting to see how Garnacho kicks off his Chelsea career. Like I said, it'd be absolute cinema if he scores the winner against United at the Bridge or even at Old Trafford. Could you imagine? But I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions. Now he is officially a Chelsea player. What do you feel about what he said in this interview? Are you happy with what he's saying? Are you thinking it's a bit of a smokescreen? Do you feel like there's a bit of has to say the right things because they're pressure controlled or whatever? I personally feel like this has come from a good place. It seems like it has. There's no real ego in it. He's also been very self-aware of saying he needs to work hard. He spoke to Enzo. He's already said, can't wait to get you here so we can work hard and work towards better things. He wants to aim for trophies because he knows that when you play for Chelsea, you need to be going for trophies, which is a very important thing. I think this could be a very good move, and I'm still sitting here waiting to see what happens on the pitch. But I'm very happy so far. I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Late last night, Fabrizio Romano had reported that Chelsea send official written proposal to Barcelona for Fermin Lopez, proposal worth £35 million. Barca have no plans to sell him this summer. The only way for Fermin exit would be in case he decides to leave, with the future now in the player's hands. Sky Carver then reported a few hours later that Chelsea are now awaiting a response after submitting the £35 million offer today for Fermin Lopez. Sky Sports News has been reporting that Chelsea would make an offer if they received any encouragement that a deal was possible. The Guardian Sport reported this morning it is understood that Barca's starting position for Fermin Lopez is £78 million. The feeling in Spain is that Chelsea will have to meet them somewhere in the middle, but it's still expected to take more than £52 million for the deal to go ahead. Now, it's going to be a crazy 24 hours. It's the 31st of August. The window shuts tomorrow evening. Chelsea have got this situation with Jackson looking to get a striker. We're going to talk about that in a second. And Fermin Lopez was a target that's come out all around the Xavi Simons saga where he's ended up going to Spurs, right? So I think Fermin Lopez would be a fantastic signing. I feel like it was purposely set up as a backup or a fail-safe for the Xavi Simons deal to fall flat out through. And it looks like it's going to be that way. Now, I'm going to be honest. As much as I'd love to see Lopez sign for Chelsea, I think he's perfect in terms of so many ways of being creative in that midfield, helping to destroy low blocks, and I think he'll be a very good player for Chelsea. He's been a very good player for Barcelona. He's still very young. I don't understand why he would leave Barcelona, if I'm being honest, because Barcelona are an incredible team right now. They're winning trophies. I don't know. Hansi Flick likes him. He wants to keep him. And I don't see Chelsea spending £78 million on him. However, I can see this transfer going through. If, which we speak about later in the video with Nicolas Jackson, if that gets resolved, Chelsea will then, I think, will use that money on the Fermin Lopez deal on deadline day. If Lopez doesn't want to leave, which it looks like that's what we're waiting for, Barca want to keep him, Flick wants to keep him. He hasn't come out and said he wants to leave. He hasn't said that he wants to stay. I think it's all down to the player. Chelsea are going to have to pay more than £35 million. It's a bit of an insulting sort of bid, considering how much Barca are valuing him at 78. Now, I don't think Chelsea will pay anywhere near that. We probably will pay around 50 to 60 million pounds if we're serious about this and we do want to get it through on deadline day, because we've left it to the last minute. However, there are more pressing issues for the Chelsea squad right now in terms of sourcing a new striker and getting this Nicolas Jackson situation sorted. So it's just a little bit of an update. We have officially put in a bid for £35 million. Some may say that, that's a fair price. He is a youngster. The way I see it, he's got over 60 appearances for Barcelona so far. He's been very influential in times throughout the season where they've been winning trophies, etc. He's a very talented youngster. I think he would do very well. It does raise a few question marks in terms of where he fits into the team, though. Because, yes, he would be a 10. You can also play on the left-hand side. But where is he going to play? Because Enzo Maresca plays that system where you play, two in midfield. One pushes up to that advanced 8. We invert. But defensively, can you see him doing a job that Enzo would do defensively with someone like Moises Caicedo or Asugo or, Andre Santos is meant to be that player. So it does raise a few question marks, but I'm not denying this kid's talent. He is a very good player. I'm just very curious to know what's going to happen the next 24 hours. Are Chelsea going to go spend big on Fermin Lopez and bring him in, considering we have other issues to address first? Or is this something that's going to spill over into maybe January or next summer and become a long-term target for Chelsea rather than someone that can get over the line right now? Because at the moment, we've got Cole Palmer, who's obviously injured, who plays in that 10. Esteval could play in that 10. João Pedro could play very well in that 10. So we have a few options. However, with the striker situation, we do need that resolved. And having another 10 would put that at ease as well. It just gives us a bit more depth. But it's very interesting to see what's going to happen with this. So I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Do you feel like Chelsea are going to be serious about this offer and raise the price if Barca need it? Do you feel like Fermin Lopez would want to move to Chelsea, or is he going to be happy and stay at Barcelona? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Now we're going to talk about this striker situation with Nicolas Jackson and everything like this, the whole saga. Matt Law reported this morning that Liam Delap requires another scan in the next 48 hours, which Telegraph Sport understands may rule him out for even longer. This could be a very serious injury, which we are hoping that it isn't. I'm hoping Liam Delap has a speedy recovery. He's been quoted 6 to 8 weeks so far, at initial sort of injury point, contact point, because it's a hamstring injury. They do take a while to come back from. A lot of players struggle to come back from hamstring injuries, usually lose a yard, half a yard of pace or whatnot. So I'm hoping that he has a swift recovery and it stays as he can stay fit for a long period of time after this injury. It's so unfortunate. Chelsea strikers in the last 12 months have been very unfortunate with picking up injuries when we need them the most, right? Going into the season with Delap and Pedro, such a different profile players, versatile. They bring so much different qualities to the pitch, and Enzo Maresca is going to have a field day. We saw it against Fulham before Liam Delap got injured, that we were looking to go long and down the channels, which is something Delap thrives under, because we wanted to try and beat Fulham's press and the low block, right? And it was working until obviously he gets injured. The whole game changes then. We have to shoehorn Tyreek George into another 9 position, and it wasn't the best game for him because he had no service. Fulham were playing very physical. They were pressing high up. We just couldn't get him on the ball. And then it also changes your style of play. You're not going to be whipping in long balls into Tyreek George. He's not going to be the guy that backs into centre-backs and holds them off, right? So this is big. If Chelsea are going to lose him for even longer than 6 to 8 weeks, then Chelsea desperately need a new striker. So I'm hoping he has a swift recovery, but we have reports on the latest of the Nicolas Jackson saga and what Chelsea are trying to do between now and the end of the window tomorrow with a new striker. Yesterday evening, Alex Crook reported breaking news. Nicolas Jackson is still in Munich and plans to stay there for a while. He is still hoping his move to Bayern can be revived. Matt Law then reported reports in Senegal from Jackson's family have confirmed that Jackson is still in Munich and has no intention of returning or playing for Chelsea. They claim he has not accepted the club's decision to call off the loan and is furious over the situation he has been left in. Nicolas Jackson's agent, Diamansi Kamara, via Instagram put this up on his stories, and it translates roughly to airplane doesn't walk backwards, but I feel like the real translation is airplane doesn't go in reverse, which I just think is a bit weird. Fabrizio Romano then reported Nicolas Jackson's stance. He doesn't want to go back to Chelsea after what happened this summer. Being out of their project, he wants to play for Bayern Munich. The Guardian Sport then reported this morning that Nicolas Jackson will not be allowed to depart on loan. Chelsea are, however, willing to sanction a permanent departure, but Bayern Munich must pay £56 million. David Ornstein reported breaking news this morning that Chelsea are considering signing a new striker, inquiries made for Sporting striker Conrad Harder and others. He goes on to report Chelsea are considering signing a striker before the deadline. Chelsea are not allowing a Nicolas Jackson loan, but permanent is possible. Nicolas Jackson's agent then posted again saying, of course it's hard, it's supposed to be hard, if it's easy, everyone would do it, hard is what makes it great. Bild reported what Nicolas Jackson's agent said for a third time, saying, we're still hoping it will work, if we didn't have hope, we wouldn't be here anymore. Sky Sports have reported that Chelsea are in negotiations with Sporting over a potential signing of Conrad Harder. And Sky Carver have reported just a second ago that Chelsea believe the Jackson loan agreement with Bayern has now been totally revoked. If Bayern believe in Nicolas Jackson, they have to buy him. They go on to say that talks are going on right now between Chelsea and Bayern Munich about Nicolas Jackson. Chelsea's position is clear. Jackson is a Chelsea player. If you want him, buy him. This is not a bluff. Chelsea are not playing poker. Plettigol have reported that Bayern's executives will get in touch with Chelsea now to look for a solution on Jackson. The loan is currently on hold, but not 100% off. Jackson and his agent Ali Barat will not fly back to London today. And Matt Law has also reported Chelsea have considered Conrad Harder. Another option is to try and cancel Marc Guiu's loan at Sunderland. This is getting very, very messy, and there's a lot to unpack here because I understand Nicolas Jackson's frustration. like I've said to you many times, I try and be fair and see both sides of things, right? I understand Nicolas Jackson's frustration and a lot of the fan frustration of saying that Chelsea shouldn't be cancelling his loan because of how we've treated him this summer. We've wanted to get rid of him. He's expressed his desire to leave. Chelsea originally said that they weren't looking to sell him, but they're willing to listen to offers. I understand that situation. And there's also the other side of it from Chelsea who are furious, and Nicolas Jackson who's also furious because he's like, you've just sent me away on loan, you've agreed that, and while I'm in the air, you then want me to come back because someone's injured. That ain't my problem. I want to leave on loan. I want to go play for Bayern Munich. I don't want to play for Chelsea. I'm not part of the project. I fully get that. It's very frustrating for him because from a personal level, he feels like he's been mistreated, right? And I totally get that. From Chelsea's perspective, they have to do what's best for the club. He's still a Chelsea player. They're well within their right to cancel the loan because Liam Delap has just been injured, and we've got news this morning that he could be out for even longer than was originally expected. He's still under contract as a Chelsea player. So this is a very sticky situation in terms of feelings and humanity side of things. But the black and white of it is, he's a Chelsea player. You do as you're told. You're under contract. If you want to breach that contract, we go down legal routes. And I know that's harsh, but that's kind of is what it is. So I know it is frustrating for Nicolas Jackson. He wants that move away. And a lot of the fans are saying, let him go. And I understand that. And I feel like he will. Now, what I like what Chelsea have done here is they said, right, okay, if you don't want to come back, we cancel the loan. If you don't want to come back, cool. If Bayern believe in you that much, they can buy you on a permanent. That is the only way you're going to be leaving Chelsea. Now, I've said many a times, it's going to be a long day at the office for Nicolas Jackson to be reintegrated into this squad. And this is pushing it even further. We've had so many players this summer window try and forcing moves, right? And I'm not tarring Nicolas Jackson with the same brush, but he's very much doing that right now. He knows there's not a lot of time left to the end of the window. Isak's been doing that to get his move to Liverpool. Wiss has been doing that. There's various other players that are trying to force their moves. Garnacho was forcing a move. I just don't think it's a good look. I just really don't think it's a good look. Look, if Bayern Munich want him and Chelsea get £56 million, cool, we'll then spend that money on Fermin Lopez probably, or another player like Conrad Harder. That's what I feel like is going to happen. Now, Conrad Harder, we were linked with him at the start of the window. And there was this running joke that Chelsea fans were like, that's the wrong Sporting player that we're linked to. We want Gyökeres. Because at the time, no one really knew what Gyökeres, where he was going. Obviously, he's ended up at Arsenal. I don't really know too much about Conrad Harder, other than he's young, he's quite technically gifted, he's good in the box, he's good in the air, he can finish, but he's still young and developing. So I think he would be a good option if the price can be right and it's not too expensive that Chelsea bring him in. I think he's the right profile of player. When we're talking about Marc Guiu, I would love to see him return to Stamford Bridge because, like I said in yesterday's video, if you haven't seen it, feel free to check it out. Marc Guiu was incredibly unlucky to get a good run of games and the opportunity to get first-team football for a lot of games when Nicolas Jackson got injured, because they both got injured in the same game, which, what are the likes of that happening, right? So if we was to recall Marc Guiu, he would get a fantastic opportunity to get a rotation of minutes between João Pedro and himself. That also takes the pressure off of João Pedro because he can't play 10 and 9 at the same time. And Maresca is going to want to utilise him in different positions depending on who we're playing. I think Marc Guiu would get a very good run out. Now, is he a polished forward? No. Is it a solution to a problem with very limited time? Yes, it is. I don't see Chelsea going out and spending massive money on a new striker because, one, there isn't a lot of supply. The demand is very high. That's why we're trying to get £60 million for Nicolas Jackson from Bayern, because we know that there is a very limited pool of number 9s right now in European football, and everyone else has made their move. Sesko's moved, Voldemar's moved, Mbuemo, Cunha, Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen, everyone. They've all made their moves now. We're right at the end of the window. So I think that bringing Marc Guiu back would be a fantastic emotional connection with the fans. I think it would be fantastic to see him go get a good run out. He's not a polished forward, but we've seen his raw talent. We know that he can be very good, and this would be incredible for his development. However, having said that, Maresca will then have to change how he plays because I don't think Guiu perfectly fits into a Maresca system. He's not necessarily the tallest, so you're not going to be whipping balls in to try and get him to score headers. I'm not saying he can't score headers. He scored one the other day for Sunderland in the Carabao Cup second round. Great goal. But he is a different type of player to Liam Delap. He's a different type of player to João Pedro. So again, they would have to adapt things. That's the least of our concern. If I'm being honest, I would love to see Marc Guiu being recalled. I want to know what's going to happen between Nicolas Jackson and Chelsea. I don't want there to be bad blood and this to end in a horrible way. Jackson is forcing the move, like these other players that have been doing this window. He's saying, I ain't coming back. I don't like the way you treated me. I want to go on loan. I want to play for Bayern Munich. I'm not part of your project. And I totally hear that. I really, really do. But the club are like, well, you haven't signed anything. You're still a Chelsea player. It's unfortunate. We were happy to let you go, but circumstances have changed. You're under contract for the next 6-7 years. The circumstances have changed. You have to be part of the project because we have one recognised striker going into the rest of the season after the international break. There's 24-ish hours left of the window. What do you expect us to do? So I understand it from both sides. And if I'm being honest, I don't know what the right decision is. Maybe the only decision is Bayern Munich come in and pay for him permanently. Chelsea get their money. They're like, cool, you can go. You're not a problem anymore. We don't want a problem around Chelsea. If you're that adamant to leave, you really don't like the club that much, they've given us the money, go be a Bayern player, that's fine. Which I think would be very sad, because look, as much as we have our thoughts and opinions around Jackson, he has done a very good job when Chelsea needed a number 9. Yes, he wasn't the most prolific, but we know what he brings to the game. His hold up, his link up, the way he drives with the ball. He's more of a winger that plays as a 9. He has some strengths that, you know, Maresca was utilising last season. We know his finishing needs to improve. We know his discipline needs to improve, especially recently. But he did a good job for us, considering the situation of the club at the time. So I don't want it to end badly. I don't have any bad blood with Nicolas Jackson. I think like a lot of fans don't. A lot of fans wanted him sold, fair enough. But right now, I'd much rather have Jackson back, because he has Premier League experience, and we can have him in rotation with João Pedro, while Liam Delap recovers. And at the end of the day, if we're all good by January and he still wants to move, send him on loan in January. Or you keep him for the whole season, send him next summer. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I think Chelsea are doing the right thing of saying, look, if they believe in you enough, buy him. And if you buy him, he ain't our problem. We'll take the money, you can have him, and then we'll figure it out on our own. But right now, they're saying, you are still a Chelsea player, mate. Come back. You're under contract. And it could just get really ugly, really messy. I believe that if you're under contract, you kind of have to do what your employer wants to do to a degree. They're not asking anything outlandish. They're basically saying, look, we were allowing you to go, but things have changed, mate. And unfortunately, you're still nothing's been signed. Nothing's been signed as of yet. You haven't even had your medical. So we're going to block that. You ain't going anywhere because you're still under contract for 7 years. You need to come do a job here, and we'll let you leave another time. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding the whole Nicolas Jackson scenario. How do you feel like it's going to end? I have a feeling that we could be forced to see Bayern Munich pay a reduced fee, not 56 million. They'll probably try and lowball us because they know time's running out and they know the situation is very sticky. I think they'll come in with around 45 million pounds and go, all right, we can end all this if we give you 45 million. I don't see Jackson coming back to Chelsea. I think he's standing firm on his stance. He wants to go to Bayern Munich, and fair play to him, man. If that's what he wants to do, let him dig his heels in. It is what it is. But it just puts Chelsea in a very difficult position. Now we have one striker out for longer, potentially, than 8 weeks, and one recognised striker going into the other end of the international break, where things really start ramping up. Champions League, cup draws coming out. The Premier League, they start stacking up going into Christmas. It's just not a good position for Chelsea to be in. Regardless, Marc Guiu, let me know your thoughts. Would you bring him back? Would you go for Conrad harder? Do you know a lot about him? Who do you think would be a better fit for the time being? Obviously, we are thinking about this as a temporary fix until we can get things sorted and Delap is back up and running. Because I would love to see Guiu back, I really would. But I don't know if he is going to be the right profile long-term for Maresca. We know he has a long-term future at Chelsea because of the raw talent he has. But Maresca would have to adapt things. I'd be happy for Guiu to come back. It could be a solution. But at the same time, I feel bad for Guiu because I don't want to cut short any first-team game time he would have been getting at Sunderland because it's a Premier League loan. As long as he gets the minutes in the Chelsea shit, I'd be happy. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding the whole situation. I'm very, very curious to know how you would resolve it. And that's the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you haven't watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that. You're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.